Welcome to What's Your Story, where we, Jamie Marco,
and Stan Brown,
delve into the extraordinary lives of everyday people.
Listen in as we uncover the unique tales that shape who we are,
one story at a time.
Hey, let's get ready to explore today's story.
Let's do it. Well, another day, another episode, Pops.
How many do we shoot in one day? It's like the game show, Hollywood Squares and Real of Floyd. We do 5 or 6 in one day.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're doing. No, but listen.
Yeah, I heard over Thanksgiving, because the fam may be together, we may be doing a Family Feud video to submit to the game show. Yes?
Yeah, I think we are going to do that. So, do you remember we applied for Family Feud years ago? I'm talking like way before husbands. Maybe there was one husband in the picture. Like, I think I have one brother-in-law, but I still only have one brother-in-law. But you know what I mean? I think we did it like years ago. We were going to fly out to California and then something happened and we didn't go. Do you remember that?
I think they accepted us, didn't they?
Yeah, but I forget like why. Mom would know. She's like an elephant. She remembers everything.
Welcome to the Memory Loss Club. So let's begin. We should do a video of somebody holding a knife, a gun, a garrote, something else, and just say, "Oh, you meant the other Family Feud."
Why are you giving other people ideas of what they should do?
Because they're so bizarre, nobody even attempt to do those things.
Well, speaking of which, today we get to speak with one of your guests. Normally it's a guest that I've invited, but today we get to speak with one of your guests, which I'm pretty excited to do. And we don't want to lead too much into it, but I wanted to chat with you a little bit about because he has a background like in sports, right?
Noam is a kind of a Renaissance man. He's been around for a while. He's one of my karaoke partners. We sing "Love Hurts," which is a fun song. Every time I meet him, I learn something new and different about him, and rather interesting.
Okay, well, but like I remember asking me, obviously you're a father to 3 girls. They were like, "Oh, well, did you, like playing sports you grew up? What did you do?" And I was having this conversation the other day with someone. I was saying, well, my dad was really never like big time into sports. He did more in this sense. That sounds terrible because yoga is a sport. But I said my dad was much more into what would you call yoga? Like more, what kind of sport would you call it?
A personal process of it. Yoga is yoga.
Yeah, I don't know. So I said I got into yoga because my dad, he's an avid bike rider, and I was telling the story. And then you had a little mishap recently, did you not?
Yeah, we should not discuss personal matters during this special time among us. Yes, it's a stupid for a little bit. Minor road rash. I won't show it. I showed it to you last night, but it ain't pretty.
Oh my gosh. I mean, and that's the thing is that I think, even like as I now exercise and I do Pilates and I do yoga and play pickleball, isn't it funny how like the older you get, like you want to stay in shape, you want to be doing things, but it's
Sure.
like when the injuries happen, they take so much longer to heal and it's so frustrating,
Well, the bigger thing is that, as you and I have discussed before, and you've discussed my shortcomings, a lot of these injuries and mishaps happen because of lack of situational awareness. This was my mistake. I paid the price for it, but just trying to be aware in the moment itself. The mind tends to jump all over the place and be scattered. One can stay in the process of what they're doing at that particular moment. I think many mishaps can be avoided. That's why they're called accidents.
Well, and it's interesting because that's why they say accidents happen within like 3 to 5 miles of your home because you're like
Absolutely.
autopilot, like you just think, oh, I know where I'm at, I'm driving. I call that being wait, hold on, unconsciously, huh?
Unconsciously. Prepare for these lessons a bit better.
Yeah. What?
Unconscious. It's the unconscious competent.
Right. And that's where
not just, yeah, but some people are just unconscious.
That is true. But that's like, I talk about that even like if you're just on autopilot, that's where accidents happen. That's where you miss what someone's trying to tell you. Like if you're having a conversation with your child and you're just doing something and it's like the same thing over again, you miss key information if you're talking with a friend or the spouse or whatever, or if you're driving or if you're doing something. And it's unfortunate because people think, oh, I'm so good at this, I can just do it with my eyes closed. But that's when accidents happen.
I have a topic to discuss for our listeners as well as ourselves, maybe in a future episode. The stress is such a big problem in our society. If one can learn to manage stress even minimally, do something a bit different to create a better state of relaxation, not just for the moment, but on a continuing basis, you can live a much more satisfying life. Here we go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You remind me of a man.
What man?
The man with the power.
What power?
The power of voodoo.
Hoodoo.
You do. You do what? You do what?
You do what?
You remind me of a man. To be continued. You're going to like this one. We have to do it in person. Because
I
you,
had an
my dear,
interesting.
all of you out there in TV land, you are the man with your own power, and you don't even know it.
It's true. I had an interesting conversation this morning. So when my daughter woke up, your granddaughter, I was taking her to school, and she said, "Mommy, do you ever feel like you're living your life, but it's not your life?"
Ooh.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Like, would you ever feel like it's not like you're not you, but you're you?" And I'm like, I didn't know what she was trying to tell me. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. She couldn't articulate it, but it was such a weird, profound thing for such a young child to say. And I said to her, I said, maybe like something like this. I said, since you can't really, and I asked her questions, can you explain what you mean? But she couldn't really. She's like, it just feels like it's not your life, but it's your life. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, it kind of feels sometimes when I look at you, I cannot believe that I am your mother. Like I carried you, you were in my body. Even if I didn't, like sometimes I'm sure people as a mom,
Oh, sure.
like I sometimes I feel like I can't believe that like you're my child and I live this life and I'm like something like that. And she was like, well, kind of, but not really. And we couldn't finish the conversation. But isn't that like a very deep thing for a
Well,
child to
she's
say?
exhibited contacts with people that have some relatives that have passed. So there's a connection. I think with such a young mind, the mind hasn't been corrupted by aging and normality norms, I suppose. And she's connecting to some stuff out there. It's let it come through, encourage that, no question. And plus, there's an old Arabic proverb by Kahil Gibran, the old Arab poet. Your children are not your children; they come through you into this world. We just have the ability to procreate, but they're really not ours. Nothing you did to make yourself fertile and be able to have a baby.
That's
It's a
interesting.
great gift,
Yeah, wow.
but
That's
they're
actually
not
very
yours.
interesting.
They're children of the universe, as are we.
I mean, do you ever look at me and be like, I can't believe that like you're like even as we're doing this, like I am your child? Does it
I
like
stopped doing that years ago. I just stopped doing. It. I couldn't get an answer. I just stopped doing that.
stop doing what?
No, thinking about that.
All right, well, let's not think anymore then. No, I'm just kidding.
It's
Uh,
a conundrum wrapped up in a dilemma.
but it's incredible. I just think that it's incredible whether you are a stepmom, a adoptive mom, or a real mom, or a pet mom, whatever it is. I think that life is amazing. And
Well, the
we
thing is,
talk,
my whole thing is people are looking for miracles every day. The key is the miracle is you. You are the power. We're communicating with each other now. We have no idea how we're doing it. You understand what I'm saying. I understand you. The fact we can speak, all these internal machinations going on inside our bodies at the same time. You're a living, walking miracle, but we take it for granted, unfortunately. You lose
well, we
sight of
get
that.
so caught up in those things that pay for our lives, right? Like our jobs and all this. We get so caught up in that we forget that just every day you wake up, breathing is an amazing day. Every day that
Because you let your energy control you. There are ways you can control some of it, not totally, but you can
yeah.
manage. If you manage the energy, you can manage your stress a lot better. We create our own prisons. Topic for another discussion.
Oh, goodness. Such a deep, deep topic. Anywho,
Mm.
okay, let's get off of that. All right, so should we welcome our guest in?
Let's keep it light. Why not? Let's do that.
All right, let's do it. All right, listener. Well, Dad, do you want to introduce your guest this time? I'm always
Yes, I'm
introducing.
very happy to introduce my friend, guest, and karaoke partner, Norm Ross, to our studios. Hello, Norm.
Hey, how are you?
We've said
Hello.
the intent of this, besides saying what's your story, is it gives us a moment to kind of walk in your shoes a little bit. You've had a very interesting life in the conversations we've had, and I assume you're still a bi-coastal man.
Well, the coastal, I'm
No,
definitely
bi-coastal.
not by. So,
Okay. Well, welcome to the podcast, bud.
oh,
So
okay.
by coastal, so you're
Sorry if I appear tired.
oh,
So, last night, what's with these women? Okay.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Great, great
oh,
intro.
we're coming out
I,
strong, Norm. Let's
wait, whoa,
go.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a minute. So I had this date, and she goes, well, did you bring your toothbrush? And I go, no, but you didn't ask me, and you didn't ask me if I bring my CPAP either. So, I mean, So I'm pretty tired.
Did she give you a breakfast menu?
No, 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 not even a la carte. I mean,
Oh. All right. So
You
wait, so
can't leave
here's
us
my
hanging.
question. So you're
yeah.
dating, obviously. It sounds like you're dating.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And where are you currently finding the people to date?
You mean
Well,
trolling?
Well,
Trolling?
because like no, because like we talked to a couple different people. We talked to somebody not too long ago who is using the apps. I'm just curious, like obviously we're not of the same generation. So what are you doing to find people? Like what's your go-to?
well, Match,
Okay.
Bumble.
Okay. Got it. Is Match.com the only place that you're using?
No, Bumble also.
Okay. All right. Got
Yeah.
it. Very cool.
Uh-huh.
I met my husband on Match.com actually.
Oh, really?
Yep, I
Wow.
did.
They're
I
still
did.
they're
Oh,
still
okay.
together, by the way.
I mean, Match.com's sort of like, a real estate listing, right?
Right.
I mean,
It's a lot of work
location.
too.
Oh, it's a lot of work, and I mean, entry, don't entry. I
Do you have
mean,
to, just like real estate, must you supply a structural inspection?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, it goes to the question that I'm going to ask is like, so at this, stage in your life, what are you like, or what are you looking for? I'm just curious. Like, what is that like? What's that ideal match that you're looking for? Let's make this a commercial for you as well.
yeah, what am I looking for? A long-term relationship. Preferably, well, someone whose kids aren't baggage.
Got it. Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense. Now, do
Yeah.
you come to the table with any children or any baggage yourself?
Oh no, might fit underneath.
Okay. I love that. They can be checked underneath. I
Right.
love that.
Mine
I
can go
His
love
kids
under.
are named
Oh,
Carry On.
mine can go under the seat. So not a
that.
So,
problem. I don't
so
have to check in any.
will there be a second date encounter with the lady from last night?
Uh, well, no, that was the second. I
Oh,
mean,
hence
she
the toothbrush.
she sort of pushed up the 3 date rule to two. So
Oh,
Hmm.
all
Did
right.
that, did
So will
that
there be a
in any way
third
offend
date?
you? Did that offend you? Scare you? Terrify you?
no, oh no. The scary part was she didn't, tell me to bring my
Hmm.
necessities.
Okay, let's recap. Now, I did learn from you that in your previous encounters, you were
Yeah.
a professional sports announcer, yes?
Yeah. So right out of college, I did PR and announcing for the old AAA Denver Bears
Oh,
What team were they?
baseball.
Oh, baseball. Okay.
They
baseball.
were affiliate of the White Sox.
Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I've never seen Bears with White Sox.
Were you living
yeah,
in Colorado for the time?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. I had gone to school in Boulder,
Okay, got it.
and right out of school, I had an oldies trivia show,
Ooh.
and then I did the announcing for the Bears. So yeah, and my first night on the air doing the trivia show, right? There was a oh God, I was hungry. It was midnight. I wasn't any
That's
good
a late.
at midnight, right?
This was
Right.
probably like the 70s. Was this the
Yeah,
70s?
yeah, yeah.
But you were hungry.
Yeah, I was hungry, and there's a
Munchy,
pizza.
maybe?
No,
Yeah,
in Boulder, they call that munchies.
I just
yeah,
said that. I just said that. A
yeah,
little munchy.
yeah, a little pizza joint across the street, and I go, "Oh, I got it."
All right.
So well, Stan will remember this. Jamie, I don't think you will. Um, so I put on a double record, MacArthur Park, long version, and a song called Inagata Davida. Okay. And what happened was, okay, and the guy go, "Oh, you're the new guy. Yeah, okay, you're Ross, blah, 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 blah." So back then you queued up records. So, it would go from one turntable to the next. And what happened was I'm sitting there and everything good. MacArthur Park is okay. And then it's supposed to go right to Inagata Davida. Okay. And all of a sudden, holy crap, Inagata, Inagata, Inagata. It started skipping,
Oh,
right?
it was like scratched or something. Yeah.
Not good. So, I
You at the
run.
pizza joint when that happened?
Yeah.
So you were
Mhm.
listening to your own
Right,
station.
right,
Okay.
Oh,
right, right.
Oh
And
crap.
so, yeah, I go across the street. Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Blah, 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 blah. So that Monday, I'm at my real job, and
Which
this guy,
was with working for the Bears, right?
yeah, and
Okay.
the program director calls me and he goes, Norm, Ross, whatever the F your name is, what were you doing? Let me guess. You were getting something to eat.
he knew because he
You wait,
probably
you
did it
weren't the
himself.
first culprit to do that.
Yeah, you
Oh.
won't do that anymore. Oh, okay. So, anyway,
Oh
that
my goodness. So how
that
did
was
that lead into, so you're doing the announcing for,
yeah.
and then so then you're doing this all radio station. What came next in the journey of Norm?
Oh, Journey and Norm moved to California
Okay,
because
Bi-coastal, I told you bi-coastal.
where in
yeah,
California?
Santa Monica, West LA.
Oh, like right in the heart of like, and this is
Oh
also in
yeah.
the 70s or early
Oh
80s?
yeah. Yeah. 70 from 76 to 98.
Why did you move
Wow.
there? Job or just choice or?
Well, I figured, all right, it's getting a little cold here. Might as well go to California. And back then it was beautiful. It was really, really nice.
Any job lined up like gold prospecting or something? Or no?
No, I was beyond that. I hired somebody to do that. I'm Jewish.
Wait, that's what you were there till 98?
Yeah.
That we were
Mhm.
there at the same time. We would have been there because we were there from 92 to 94.
Really?
Yeah.
In
Where?
Westlake Village.
Westlake
No
Village.
kidding. I didn't know that. The
Yeah.
805 area code. Whoa.
And my
Yeah.
older daughter got caught in the big earthquake out there. She lost
Wow, so
everything.
did I. Oh,
Yeah.
that. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Yeah. Talk about earthquakes. Are you kidding me?
Well, you would have
So,
been there for the one that was in San Francisco also, like in
89.
89.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was doing the World
World
Series.
Series. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The A's and what was it? The A's and the Giants? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, anyway, yeah, that earthquake was amazing. Right.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I
You're in,
better not. I
you're in
better
Santa
not.
Monica. And what are you
Yeah.
doing? Any
Well,
corporate work or what?
well, I had just gotten back from a Circle of Excellence trip
Oh.
that morning, like 3 hours before. I didn't know what hit me.
Who's excellent? What are you talking? What the hell is that?
I was excellence. Back in the day, I was excellent. Today,
It was
I'm only very
a
good.
self-bestowed award. I'll give myself one.
You're still
Yeah,
excellent. We're still on the commercial for dating here. He's still excellent, listeners. Wait, so
yeah.
you were living in California. So you went to Santa Monica from Denver, but what brought you? So what were you doing in Santa Monica before all the earthquakes?
Oh, during that, I was in advertising publishing.
Hence like sales, and that's how you got
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. So we got back from a trip, and yeah, I had sort of a girlfriend at the time.
A
And
toothbrush attendee.
what's that?
A toothbrush attendee. Go ahead,
Yeah,
continue.
no, back then, yeah, yeah. Well, no, she came to my house.
Oh, okay.
She met me there, and fine. 3 hours later, it was shaking, and I go, "Oh, God, I'm good, but not this."
You made the earth move.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, so she like faints on me, and I'm going, oh boy, this is not turning out well. So what do? Well, I got a bucket of cold water and poured it on her, and she came to. Um,
Did she
so
faint panic from the earthquake? Like it was a
yeah.
panic attack?
Oh
Because it
yeah.
was, because I know it was the strongest in Northern California, but you would have felt it all over California, that
Well,
earthquake.
no, this was the Northwich quake
Oh,
of
Northridge.
94.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Oh
close. Yeah,
yeah.
that one was
Oh
close.
That
yeah.
happened like early in the morning, like 4 in the morning or something.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So then my sister and her husband lived in Brentwood at the time.
That's big bucks, man.
No, it
Oh, I know
was,
what Brentwood's famous for, but continue.
yeah. Anyway, well, no, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyway, my sister calls, oh my God, our place collapsed and blah, blah, come on over. All right.
She
I
invited
came
you to
over.
a collapsed building?
Oh, well, it was pretty bad. And her couch had fallen over her stuff and lifted up. I need to get my purse. And so she asked her husband, she goes, well, we're gonna have to go to Norm's house. I didn't realize it would be 8 months, but okay.
You had a
And
single family house?
what's that?
You had a single family?
Townhouse.
It survived.
Mine survived. Yeah. And so what happened was she gets panicky and
Was the
so
sister of the date? I'm confused. The sister
no,
of the
the sister, the date was gone. I
Okay,
said,
okay.
get down to
She was
Orange County.
soaking wet. She had to go home and get changed.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
In
Jamie, you know
Orange
what they
County.
say: no body, no crime.
To Orange County. So anyway, so lift up the couch, get her purse and her phone, blah blah. Then she goes, hey Neil, what should I wear? He goes, your earthquake outfit. I mean, are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
So, that was the quake. And then, yeah, Brentwood's known for Bundy and Gorham, the OJ deal,
Yes.
right?
And
Yeah.
you knew
And
somebody who really lived close to the OJ house, no, or to
yeah,
her house.
yeah. So back then, I was friends with a sportscaster in LA who was later on famous. I'm not going to mention names. At ESPN and blah blah. And it turns out that my old next door neighbor found the barking Akita at Nicole's house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And my neighbor had moved next door to Nicole like I don't know, 6 months earlier. So, well,
And
this
the
was
dog was barking. So, listener, if you're not catching on, we're talking about the Nicole Brown Simpson
yeah,
murder and Ron
yeah,
Goldman murder back in
yeah.
1990,
Four,
94, 94.
June 12th,
Yeah.
Saturday night. So my sister lived catty corner over on Gorham. And she calls it like 1 in the morning. She goes, oh, they're shooting over at Nicole's. And I go, well,
Shooting
A
is in like
movie?
gun shooting?
shooting
Or...
like a movie,
Oh.
with all these lights and everything else.
Wow.
So I go, Andy, wait a minute. It's 1 in the morning. Production costs overtime in LA. They're not shooting a movie. Trust me. So I went ahead and turned on the TV and found out what happened. And then my old next door neighbor was on. He had found the barking Akita. Well, turns out later on, and I was playing tennis at the time, and we were all members of the same tennis club. One of the dismissed jurors, one of our tennis partners, was a dismissed juror. So my contact at ESPN called me and asked me if I could do an interview with her for Sports Center Radio,
Sure.
ESPN Radio. So I did that. And at the same time, I had also been dating one of the attorneys in the trial, and it happened to be an attorney that was the media attorney. So every
Not
time,
Marsha?
no,
Marsha
not
was mean.
Marsha. No, Marsha's not my type. Thank you.
But Norm, she's breathing.
Yes, that's true. The other one had a bigger pulse. So, all right. So anyway, she was an attorney from the media, and would just say, "Hey, can I come over?" 2 in the morning, and I'm going, oh, this is,
It's killing me.
it's killing me. So that was my OJ thing.
But I mean, like, so, listen, like that, the whole kerfuckle of that, like the chase
What?
on,
You have to edit that out.
I know, no, but like the whole chase on the highway and like the whole everything going on, like you're seeing it differently, probably living in California than the rest of the country was, because it was probably first on local news, then got to national news. Like, are you thinking, yes? I mean, he's gone, so he's not coming after you. But like, are you thinking, yeah, like, what are you thinking in LA as this is going on?
Oh, well, I'm watching it, and I got pissed off because the Knicks were on during one of I think it was during the championship at the time, or one of the division finals. And so I'm sitting there watching the Knicks, and they're showing the chase, but at least they split screened it. Okay.
Apparently, basketball trumps murder.
Right, exactly. Okay. I mean, that's a slam dunk.
I mean, I remember that. Like, I was at the Daiquiri Deck on Siesta Key and they had it on the bed television. We were all watching it. I remember that moment. It's so crazy of like just that moment in time.
Well, and all the highway exits as they're going up the 405. You
Yeah.
know, AJ is driving the car,
Yeah.
and AJ Cowling, I think his name was, and old teammate of his from the Buffalo Bills days.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
know that.
yeah, and so you see the exits, and then you get up where the revolving Holiday Inn is on the 405 North, and they turn off, and then they go, through the back roads, and then they go to OJ's house, and they pull in, and
Oh, so I forgot myself. They never pulled him over. He actually came to a final stop someplace.
right, yeah, he came to the final stop at his house in the Palisades.
How did your sister feel about living there as that's all going on? I mean, like did she move? I know her house fell in the Northridge earthquake, but at that time had she moved? Like did the neighborhood change? Like what happened at that? Is
No,
someone
she
living in that
didn't.
house
She
now?
didn't move. I mean, listen, my sister loved her to death, but her news at that time was Entertainment Tonight. So, okay.
Yeah.
That started with the trial that lasted quite a bit of time, did it not?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it was, and then they changed the venue from Santa Monica to LA, and
Can you imagine
that
buying that
changed.
house? Like
In
so
the
that
in
house
the
had to go
court
for
of public
sale.
opinion, was the consensus that he was guilty initially by people?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, yeah.
I mean, like think about like that house had to have been put up for sale eventually. So someone else has purchased that home.
Oh
Think
yeah, and it was great
about,
because I had friends come to visit me, and
He was on the tour, on the gnome tour.
I had a real estate broker's license, so I show them the house.
oh my gosh. Wow. All right. So let's jump. That's fat. I can't even. I don't want. Let's jump back. So you're advertising sales in Santa Monica, and then you circle lessons. How long did you do that role for?
11 years.
Okay. And then what came next?
What came next? Boy, okay.
Another certificate of excellence, I'm sure.
Yes, a lot of excellence. No, I left there in 97. And so I met this gal on a riverboat in New Orleans during a trade show. And it turns out her best friend and I knew her in advertising. So, she goes, oh, you ought to come down here. Well, we were thinking, a bunch of us were thinking of buying a magazine. And I figured, oh, might as well work for it to see first, if it's worth it. So I did, and found out it was mostly trade, which, you can't live on trade and barter. So I said, this isn't going to work. And there was a human resources company down there, a national HR company. And so I got a job with them.
You were a hatchet man?
No. I sold hatchets.
That's the same thing.
No, I sold HR to small, medium-sized business. It was
Wow.
a public company.
Wow.
And so did that for 13 years.
Ooh, that's a long
And
gig.
I was a sales manager and then got transferred to Denver.
Well,
when-
what location was it? Where
New
was that?
Orleans.
New
What's
Orleans?
that?
When you were the
No. I had met this gal on a riverboat
Yeah.
in New
Oh,
Orleans.
okay.
Where was
Okay.
the HR job?
Out of Texas.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're more
So
than bicoastal. You've been around, man. Jeez.
yeah, so I went down there and um, got a job doing that. And then after 2 years, they said, "Hey, we need help bad in the Denver office. You have ties. Do you mind relocating?" So I did.
Full
And
circle back to like where you started your career.
yeah, I went back to Denver. And HR is funny. They go, you sit down and
Not if they're calling you into the office, it's not funny.
well, well, no, what happens is the small and medium-sized businesses needed help, and they're not HR experts. They're
Right.
expertise on whatever they do.
Right.
And we were their off-site HR. And, I'd go in there and they'd say, "Well, what's your specialty?" And I'd say sexual harassment.
Creating it or dealing with it?
Both.
Nice.
Well, it's fun. HR, the regulations have grown so significantly over the years. It was kind of a lot looser in those days, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of
So-
the lawsuits.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
get away with tons of crap.
So
I
I
mean-
did that for 13 years.
Wow.
And then I ended up, what did I do? Oh, specialty insurance for
What the
9
hell is
years.
that? What is
Well,
special?
9 years. It was called accounts receivables or trade credit insurance. And, a friend of mine from Texas had left the company also in HR. And he said, he called me one day in his Texas drawl.
Drool.
Drool.
He was old.
Yeah. Normal?
Normal.
I found this thing called trade credit insurance, and I'm doing good. If I'm doing well, you'll do great. And okay. So I looked into it and started doing that, and I did it for 9 years.
Ooh, babies.
Wow.
Yeah. You sort of reinvent yourself,
Now, I never asked you, are you a confirmed bachelor? Have you ever been married?
Oh, twice. And they're both references upon request.
How long each time?
12 years the first time in California.
During your marketing advertising days?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. And then 14 years in between. And I was engaged in between once, but
I'm sure you were.
yeah, put it this way, I don't mind people on antidepressants as long as they work. Okay. So
So is your under the plane baggage from your first wife or your second wife? Or both?
I would say,
I mean your children. I'm referencing your children.
Well, no, I only have a stepson. I don't have
Okay.
any.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So, it's sort of, half undergarments and half overgarments. I don't know.
Now, as you mentioned earlier that you're looking for kind of a long-term relationship. So again, is marriage on the table a third time?
No. And as my late mom passed away in August, age 98.
Wow.
And
God bless her.
Yeah, and she was great until 3 weeks before she passed. And so My dad died suddenly in 91. Mom was assistant superintendent of schools in Connecticut.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And moved out to LA in Orange County and met this guy. And she calls me one day and she goes, "Hey, Irv and I are gonna live together." Oh, okay, like I have a choice.
How
Uh,
old is she now when this
at
happened?
this point, mom was probably 68, 69.
Jamie, so it is genetic. Sorry.
So she said, well, this is funny. So she goes, okay. And later on, she goes, maybe a month before she passed, she said, you have lousy taste in women. And I go, yeah, I figured that out. And she goes, all right,
She's
do
still
me a
with the guy. She's still with the guy at that time?
no, no, no. He's long gone. He lied about his age, but he was fine. But she goes, listen. She goes, no need to get married again. She goes, you can live with somebody. Shacking up's good enough for me. It's good enough for you.
So she
We
came
like
to a moment of clarity.
Well, it's interesting. My husband and I had this conversation the other day. We were talking about just, a friend of mine whose spouse had passed, and
Right,
in a very short amount of time, the widow, got remarried, and so we
right.
were
How
talking about
short?
like
How
what,
short? How short?
less than a year.
Whoa.
So we were like, well, but the spouse, there's no listen, everyone does their own thing. I met my husband in 3 months, we were engaged, like whatever. Everyone's got their own timeline, but it brought up
Right.
the conversation of would you get married if I passed? Would he get married again? Or if he passed, would I get married again? And I answered, I said, I have no need to get married again. Like what, like could I date someone and be with someone? Maybe I'm not even thinking about that, but like what would be the purpose of getting married again?
Right.
So,
Right.
like, I don't
Well, so
know.
you're saying you only get married to start a family?
I mean,
Well,
no,
no,
but
yeah,
like,
I mean, as I tell women, sure. I mean, if you want to have kids, great, but I don't want a bar mitzvah at age 86.
but it's not even like to start a family. Like, I think like I originally, and not to knock anyone else, just my own thing. It's like, I think once is enough. And then after that, like, what would be like, I've, met my person, we're married, and hopefully we have a very long life together. I just don't know like what the need would be to get married. Like, what is
Well,
like,
you say you've met your person. I'm sure there's more than one person that can make your heart flutter in the world. You meet the one that does it
right,
for
but you
you.
can be with them, but what is the benefit of getting married?
That's a different issue.
I don't know. Just an idea.
No,
Taxation, taxation,
no. I mean,
representation.
it just makes things very difficult financially
Yeah. Yeah.
if you,
So one would say senior dating is a difficult process, or one you just have to navigate differently.
oh my God, both.
Well,
It's
let me ask you this. What is so we always ask like the range. So you don't have to tell me how old you are. It's not, if you want to, you're
oh,
willing
that's fine. No, I'm
how
73.
73. So what
Yeah.
is the range of women that you are looking to date?
No, no, no. What's the youngest they'll date? That's what you mean.
No, I think the range.
Okay. The low
Well,
to
wait a
high.
minute. So in my profile, I go 60 to 73.
Okay. So you want no one older than you, but you'll go as young as 13 years.
Now
Okay.
tell us the
Right.
truth. Tell us the truth.
Oh, no, it's the truth unless somebody contacts me.
Mhm.
And, the first thing I ask them is, okay, you know, I just, when you're 90, I'm going to be, or when I'm 90, you're going to be 62. And so what's the purpose here? I mean, are you going to throw the wheelchair down the road or the
So
hill?
you're not living in the moment, you're projecting for the future. So we'll say at your age, would you date a woman in her 40s? Because there are some people that are older souls you may have something in common with, even though there's a great disparity of, say, 30 years, but it could happen.
Yeah, it could happen,
Yeah.
but realistically, I mean, if you look at it realistically,
Yeah.
that, all right, in seven to 10 years, she's going to be on her way. And look at Anna Nicole Smith. That was a great relationship.
She certainly, yeah. So, it's interesting. So are you fully retired now, or are you still working?
I work part-time. I just for myself trade stock options.
What line of work did you end up retiring from? Was it that HR trade related position, or the
No,
insurance?
the insurance, and then I did some consulting in the research and development tax credit,
Got it.
educating CPAs and business owners. Somebody got a hold of me and said, "Hey, you can do this." And I said, "Never heard of it." And I heard you're a quick study. So
Well, so
anyway.
that means that you've got some free time on your hands. So hopping back into the dating realm. So what are some things, I'm giving you a commercial here. We're going to promote you out there.
Oh,
Like when you're thinking about the perfect first date, what is the perfect first date for you?
that she looks like her picture.
Hey, I did a lot of online dating. I can completely relate to that. Oh my goodness. Well, let's talk about that for a second. So what are you finding? Do they look like drastically different or?
Did you say
Yeah,
Jurassically?
Yeah,
what's
Jurassic.
that? Oh, yeah, they're either photoshopped
So
or,
sad. I don't get that.
you gain X amount of weight in 6 months.
I don't know why
Uh,
people do that. It's like you're gonna meet the person. They're gonna see that what you posted is
right.
not accurate. Why would you do that?
I
Oh.
have no clue.
Mhm.
So, that's a navigation. And then first you got to talk on the phone first.
But
Okay.
that works out well sometimes.
Yeah.
As far as what?
Yeah, you get along, you have common interests and stuff. Do you actually meet each other? I mean, because physical attraction is a big factor. But somebody you get along with someone on the phone, you have common interests, you talk, you chat,
Right.
engage.
But then you still have the dreaded chemistry,
Oh,
right? And I don't know about me, or you, but
I don't think you don't know about you.
I don't know about me either. No, I don't know about you, but to me, I can tell in 10 seconds if the chemistry's there, at least on my side.
On the
In
phone or in
person
person?
or on the
In
phone?
person, in person.
Oh,
Yeah,
person's
because
good.
I remember
Person.
like when I was doing online dating, that was like the biggest mistake that I made is that I would have like we would email first and we'd have like these great like emails whatever. Then we get
Yeah,
on the phone call and we'd have this really great phone conversation because there's
right,
that one dimension. And then we would meet in person and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, no, I can't like do it." And but that would be the problem because sometimes I would talk to the person three or four or five, six times on the phone and you build this relationship and then you meet
right,
them in person and there's zero chemistry.
Okay, so
right.
both of you, when you get there in person, what's your best go-to? Like, I gotta go. I got IBS or I got a meeting.
Yeah. Well,
How do you get out of
first,
it?
what I've learned is you got to do FaceTime first.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, yeah.
All right.
Or as soon as possible, right? You got to meet as soon as possible.
Right. But the FaceTime really helps.
Oh, you mean like FaceTime on the phone,
FaceTime
FaceTime?
on
Yeah.
the phone.
See, we didn't, when I was back dating, that wasn't like a thing. So, yeah.
Well, and I decided I need to only date women who have iPhones.
Oh, Android users, hearts broken right now. There's like WhatsApp. You can do it through WhatsApp. You're
Yeah, I
like
suppose.
pigeonholing yourself.
Yeah.
This is an Apple commercial. Did you hear
I'm
that?
not a techie.
Listen,
So,
Wozniak.
somebody wants to teach me how to, use the
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, blah, blah. That's fine.
I'll teach you so you
That's
can
right.
broaden your range.
Right,
I
right.
cannot emphasize enough the importance of specificity. I had a sales manager who was recently widowed. He was a cousin of Gilda Radner,
Oh,
and he had
how come I've never heard this before?
I don't know. You'll listen to me. He had moved to the Tampa Bay area, and he was
Yeah,
online dating, and he met this gal saying, "Yeah, she's in the Bay Area also." And he's, "Well, maybe you can show me." She said, "I'll show you so much stuff in the Bay Area." They get along famously. Everything was going so great. She says, "Why don't you come visit me? Can spend a couple of days?" So she sends the address. She was in San Francisco Bay Area and he was in Tampa Bay. So it wasn't
Oh
specific.
my God.
Worse than that, he flies out there. He goes, spends about a hotel, spend a couple nights in her house. And when he's there after dinner, she starts bringing out the whips and the chains and the rubber suits. She was into dominance. He got up, he packed up, he flew back to Tampa. He's never going back to California again. Crazy story. Oh, we'll meet in the Tampa Bay. We'll see some in the Bay Area.
At least did the handcuffs have fur?
Initially, yes. By the time he ran out, it was down to bare steel.
But
Oh,
like it's interesting because like that's just his fault for not like choosing his selection. But
Specificity.
I think that like, you that's the thing is that you open yourself up to more people online, right? Like when you're
Oh,
right.
sure.
at a bar or if you meet somebody somewhere locally, you get to have that initial attraction. And then sometimes you get to know the person better and you're like, okay, wait, we're just not a good fit. But then the online dating side of it is that you get to like get to know the person based off their profile, like you said, like the whole ad of what they're putting. And so it's like reverse engineering that physical attraction piece. It's
No,
so,
I mean, I bet your mother, like most people at work, we worked together, we met each other, we knew each other. So, Norm, you've had such a varied occupational career. You must have dated some of the women you met on the job.
No, I tried not. Just like I won't date
don't
women.
dip the pen in the company ink.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And also I won't date in my community. I mean,
Smart man.
that's not happening.
It's
But
convenient, but it's also dangerous.
well, yeah, yeah.
So,
I'm- yeah.
so if I ask you for one bit, over all your years and experience of occupations, living in different locations, different jobs, different people, different careers, give me like a 10 words or less bit of advice for somebody. What have you learned?
Well, for senior people or
Just
for
In
because
general,
people,
anyone.
regardless of age, just people to people in general. What would
as far
you, what can you actually postulate to the world at large that you learned in over 7 decades?
over 7 decades?
Yes, that's like 70 years.
Huh. 7 decades. What can I tell people? You don't know everything,
Mm.
You talking to me?
especially.
What would you say? I'm curious as to, listen, over the last 73 years,
Yeah.
so much has happened in this world, from technology to politics to weather. I mean, like
You name
just
it, you name it.
so much has happened over the last 70 years. What would you say would be the three, and I know maybe the earthquake's one of them, but I want to hear from you. What would you say would be the three biggest things that have happened in your lifetime that have had the most profound effect on the way you think, the way you live, the way you've experienced the world?
Wow. Well, the sudden death of my dad
Mm.
was that was bad.
So you were about
Unexpected.
20 years old, right, when that happened? Or how old were you
I
when that
was
happened?
I was 40.
Oh, 40. I don't do math in public. Sorry, you were
Yeah.
40.
No, I
And
was
he
40.
wasn't sick, Norm? He was not sick?
No. Well, he had a pacemaker and they misadjusted it. And, mom found him gone. So that had an effect. And then also my grandfather, and when he died, he was like my best friend. I was 20 in college. So those were you know, the two things that um, really hit me the hardest. Um, and then, trust is a tough one. Okay. To me, you really, everything's great physically, this, that, but the trust factor is something that, you have to learn. And a lot of people in their 20s, rush to get married and this and that, but they really don't know the person.
Mhm.
And it's funny, there are more divorces after with empty nesters than everything because they're busy running to baseball and football and
They're
basketball.
busy. They're busy with other stuff, sure.
Yeah, gymnastics, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, the kids leave and they look at each other and go, okay, now what?
Yeah. Well, it's hard. It's really hard. And I only have one child, but it's really hard to prioritize your relationship when you're also trying to raise a child at the same time. And that's something that we struggle. We are somewhat successful at, but we try to do that as much as we can because that's the thing. Like you said, that's at the foundation of the well-being of your children as well, too, because one day she's going to grow up and she's going to go off and then I'm going to be looking at him in the mirror and being like, or looking at each other and be like, what do we do now? Right. And so I think
Right.
that's, like you said that, yeah, it's
Well,
hard
one of
to.
the secrets and vulnerabilities of the male world is the man is one of the central figures in the relationship. And as the child gets older, that attention gets shifted from the husband to the child. And the man
Right.
feels really just basic, less important in the overall package. And that creates problems in and of itself. One
Right.
has to deal with that. That's why I used to wonder, you get all the families would get together, you see all the couples, the older couples get together when I was a kid, and the man would just sit there and say nothing. They were quiet. They didn't want it to. No one listened to them anymore. Hey, I think about this. Shut the hell up, Harry. I'll take care of you later. And it happens to. I had Uncle Jack. Would his wife Rhina would come. One of the sisters would come and visit with my aunts and grandma. Jack would sit in the car, outside in the street, just tapping his fingers on the steering wheel. I'm not talking 5 minutes, but 2 hours.
Ha.
Either he had nothing to contribute or didn't want to contribute, but I'm saying the dynamic shifts dramatically. And the male ego is very, very fragile. You'll see that a lot. Guys will just learn to shut up because women get stronger. I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you how to drive. I'll tell you. They don't talk like that, but it sounds like that. But
Well, back, with my grandparents and great uncles, great aunts, they lived around the corner from us. And every Sunday we'd go up there. We were in a valley, they were
sure.
higher. And we'd all go, it'd be a family gathering, and cousins, aunts, uncles, blah, blah, grandparents, and we'd watch the Giants football game because they had the high antenna so they can pick up Hartford. There were blackout rules then, so we could watch the football game. And all the women would be in the living room, okay? And the guys would be watching TV, and my uncle would be out there flipping burgers. And the funniest thing was, boy, did my grandmother have rabbit ears. Anyway, we're all sitting there. My uncle is flipping a burger and he goes, "Hey, Mike, you want another burger?" 20 yards from the living room, you hear this voice. "No, he's full."
I rest my case.
That is fun. But I think it's like, I think as you go forward and you're like dating, I think dating is a fun adventure, for you. And I'm excited that you're in that stage of your life where you get to, it's like an adventure. I think you just never, it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I love that you are willing to be on the applications or the apps and looking for that person and find that person. You live in a place where you can do so many different things for a date that, like different things. And I think it's awesome. I love that that's your story. And after like what you've been doing your whole life, I think it's incredible.
If we're healthy as older men, we become a great commodity because there's eventually more of us around percentage wise.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And if you can dance, forget about it. That's fantastic.
Well, so what happens, like in my profile, I write, "Hey, ladies, this is a passage I have. Listen, I have my hair, my original teeth, I can drive at night, and I'm affectionate. What else do you want?"
There you
have
have
it. Has that been effective?
There you have it.
And then I say, "Okay, I'm Jewish, more spiritual and everything.
Sure.
Just please don't tell me you knew someone who was Jewish once."
I have to interject my famous question because I try to get this done at the beginning. Jamie knows what the question is. So please, in your vast experience as a bi-coastal, multi-talented, multi-occupational / career person, also HR, as well as a senior dater, have you ever or known someone personally that has had a UFO experience? Think about this. because it could have been when you're 3 years old, but when you have one, as I had one as a child, it's something, it's indelible. You never, ever forget it.
A UFO?
Yeah, not UFO. Yeah, have you ever any you? I'm not saying been abduction, been probed, been talked to, had dinner. Any you never seen a UFO or experience that's paranormal?
No.
And no friends ever related one to you?
No, we've talked about other things that start
Nah,
with
that doesn't
you.
count.
We start with you, but not a USO or
You
UFO.
can't change the meaning of UFO.
No,
So
no.
So I would be remiss if I didn't ask two questions because I have curiosity since we started the call. I see when I'm looking in your background, I see three things that I'm very curious about. One
Okay.
is it looks like a medal of some sort. The other one is a picture of a home.
Right.
And
Okay.
then to your left is a picture of somebody in a tie crossing their arms like this. It looks like it might be an article, something like that.
Let's see. Hold on.
Turn to your right a little bit. It's on the frame. It's posted to the frame.
Right
So,
there.
oh yeah, what's that? So that is a golf.
Right.
What is that?
That's my dad at Pebble Beach.
Okay, golfing. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the medal above that?
Oh, that's my grandfather's Purple Heart from World War One.
wow.
Wow. What do you
Yeah.
get that for?
Yeah.
Wounded.
Well,
Wounded.
he was in the hospital, and there's a whole note to his parents that's in that frame in Versailles.
Mm.
And
When you get
yeah,
wounded, you get a Purple Heart.
yeah, not these days when you open up, a can of Coke and you cut yourself.
Used to count.
And then just to your left is a picture of it's on the frame. There's a frame to your left, and there's a picture on the picture. No, come forward a little bit. Come forward, 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 right up, right there. Yes, who is that? Yeah.
All right, that's the big frame is the last golf tournament Arnold Palmer ever played in. And he signed it with everybody on the tour at the
For
time.
you or for your dad?
What do you mean?
Who,
No, he
who's,
signed it for me.
oh, really?
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that a picture of Arnold Palmer on the bottom there?
Um,
It's like in
no,
the frame. There's a
right here.
yes, that. What's
No,
that?
that's mom at her
Oh, I can't.
desk as assistant superintendent of schools.
Oh, I can't tell. You can't tell if it's a man. You can't tell what it is.
Right. And
I love
that
that.
picture is all the golfers.
Where was
And,
that where was that last game played? Where? What course?
oh, in Augusta Pines in the
Georgia?
Woodlands, Texas.
It's funny. We grew up, Jamie. Jamie didn't know this, but I was a kid, grew up in Dorchester in Boston, where Marky Wahlberg and the family came from. But we must have been lower class because we didn't even know about golf then. And your father was playing the golfs at these fabulous. You guys must have been upper class, high class. You had some bucks in the family.
Well, no,
Pebble Beach is like
it was on his bucket list, and he got to go up there, and that was, let's see, that was 4 years before he passed.
wow.
So,
Hmm.
you know,
All
it was
right. Well,
pretty cool.
I have one last final question for you. I don't like to call it that, bucket list, but we'll go with that was a great movie. Who is that? Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, right?
Right.
What is one thing you still have left on your list you'd like to accomplish in the next 25 years?
Let's see.
You're in Centurion.
Yeah. All right. Master the trading, the options trading,
Okay.
because I'm taking a class and I get mentored for 2 hours once a week, and it's pretty cool. It's just different. So I want to master that.
Okay.
I'd like to. I've never been to Italy. I'd like to go there,
Right.
and probably meet someone for the back nine.
Hmm.
I love that.
Interesting.
I love your story. I'm so grateful that you took the time out of your pickleball, karaoke, golfing life to come and share some time with us. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, big guy. We appreciate it.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
This won't be
Do you have any-
airing until 3025.
Well, yeah, I was going to say you need somebody to sell the sponsors or what?
Yeah, hey, we'll do it. Let's chat. Let's talk. 100%. Let's talk. I'd love that. That'd be amazing. Well, yeah,
Okay.
thank you so much. I'm gonna stay in touch because I want to hear about your dating journey. I'm so excited to hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Stan will keep you up to date.
I'll keep you loopy.
I may
Okay,
have
buddy.
someone actually. I gotta see if she'd be. I know somebody. We'll see.
Hmm.
Well, thank you, Norm. We appreciate you. We'll let you get back to your trading and your day, a life of Norm, a late day in the life of Norm.
I'll see you when I see you.
I'll see you at karaoke.
Absolutely.
Our go-to song is the Mr. Ed theme song.
That's true. You
I've
did a good job
heard.
with that.
I've
The
heard.
host is the host, of course, of course.
Oh God, we'll let you all lead. All right. Thank you, Norm.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
bye.
talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's a day in the life of a norm. I'm not sure if norm stands for normal.
Oh, normal. I mean, what is normal anyways? What is normal?
I told you before, if you are normal in an abnormal world, which we kind of have, then you're really the outcast. You're the crazy person.
Well, I like to be the crazy person. I like to walk with the crazy little jig. That was really cool. It's so interesting. Like, there's so much more to his story, I'm sure. And I would have never guessed we would navigate to like the online dating stuff like that. But it's got to be, challenging. I see people that are in their 40s online dating, people in their 30s and their 20s, and it's
Sure.
become harder and harder as you do that. But I think that's just like it's got to be hard thinking about trying to find someone for that back nine. And I think that in itself, is a challenge. But did you learn something new about him just by, I know you're friends. Did you learn something new?
Probably. I didn't know he had a bunch of jobs and stuff, but little piece. He's kind of a private person. Wants to keep a lot of stuff to himself, but maybe he's witnessed relocation. I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. All right. On that note, Dad, always a pleasure connecting.
Listeners, I promise you, at some point, someday, somewhere on this podcast, we will find someone that has had a virtually new and unique UFO or UAP experience.
And if that's you, let us know. All right. Gotta go.
Adios.
Dad. Love you.
Signing out. Woo! Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jamiemarco.com. That's www.jamiemarco.com. And we will see you next time.